Yeah, we are just starting up the live stream here. Give it just a second.
Okay, it looks like Commissioner Wellborn is not muted. Do you want him to mute to avoid any feedback?
Starting up the live stream here. Give it just a second.
Okay, it looks like Commissioner Wellborn is not muted.
Okay, yes. Commissioner Wellborn, if you could mute your microphone just to prevent any feedback would be great.
1 minute, check your phone. Hi there.
Hello,
Hi.
are you here to offer some public comment?
Yes.
Would it be possible for you to just sign in on the front there
Sure.
to help us out? Thank you very much.
Okay, at 6 o'clock, I'm gonna get started. Good afternoon. This listening session of the Montana Public Service Commission is called to order. The purpose of this session is to receive public comments on Montana Dakota Utilities' request for increased rates for natural gas service, which has been assigned Commission docket number 2024.05.061. I am Brad Molnar, President of the Public Service Commission. For the record, the time is 6 p.m. The date is May 19th, 2025. We are conducting this listening session from the offices of the Montana Board of Oil and Gas in Billings, Montana, and by Zoom. Am I supposed to list the laws here in the way of commissioners?
You like?
Okay, with me tonight, at this time is Commissioner Pinocchi, who represents District 1, which happens to include the northern part of Yellowstone County. Myself, from District 2, representing most of Yellowstone County and all surrounding counties. And online, joining us are Commissioner Bukacek and Commissioner Wellborn. I now ask the Commission staff, Attorney Laura Wachowski, to summarize the procedural history of MDU's request.
Thank you, Mr. President. Under Montana law, the Public Service Commission has the authority to approve or deny changes in rates charged by public utilities. Montana law requires rates for utility services to be just and reasonable. Under United States Supreme Court precedent, rates must also be sufficient to provide an opportunity for public utilities to earn a reasonable return on their investment. In other words, rates may be unlawful if they are either too high or too low. On July 15th, 2024, MDU filed an application seeking approval to increase rates for natural gas service to its Montana customers. MDU's application alleges that its existing rates are too low. In its application, MDU sought a rate increase which, if granted in its entirety, would raise an additional approximately $9.4 million in annual revenue. MDU's request was based on a return on equity of 10.8%. MDU also requested interim rate relief in the amount of approximately $7.9 million. On January 14th, 2025, the Commission issued order number 7972C, granting MDU interim relief in the amount of approximately $7.7 million for service rendered on or after February 1st, 2025. The interim rate is subject to refund with interest if the Commission later determines the rate is unjust or unreasonable. The Montana Consumer Council intervened in this docket and opposed the magnitude of the rate increase requested by MDU, the manner in which MDU proposed to allocate its request among customer classes, and the manner in which MDU proposes to set rates. The MCC supported a revenue requirement increase of approximately $5.4 million based on an authorized return on equity of 8.9%. On April 3rd, 2025, MDU and MCC filed a stipulation and settlement agreement. In that settlement agreement, the parties recommend that the Commission approve a $7.3 million rate increase based on a 9.6% return on equity. If approved, the proposed settlement would increase the average residential customer rates by 9.99%, or approximately $5.29 per month, relative to rates that were in effect before February 1st, 2025. The Commission has not yet considered the proposed settlement. If the commission rejects the party settlement, all parties have reserved the right to present evidence and argument in favor of their original positions. Mr. President, that concludes my summary of the procedural history of this matter.
Okay, we are here today to listen to public comments. As a result, this meeting will not have a question and answer format. The commission and its staff will not be commenting today or answering questions. If certain technical questions arise, I may defer to the commission's legal counsel. Please be mindful of your use of time so that others have adequate time to comment. Comments should be delivered professionally and respectfully. Commenters should please confine their remarks to the specific topic of the listening session, which relates to MDU's rates for natural gas service as presented in its original application and in the party's proposed settlement agreement. The commission now invites members of the public to comment. Please remember to speak into the microphone, state and spell your name, and state where you are from. We do not need your physical address, just the town where you live. Please also identify any organization on whose behalf you are speaking if applicable. We will begin with the commenters in the room. Are there any commenters in the room? Seeing one?
I'm the only commenter?
So far.
If you'd like to.
Good evening, commissioners. My name is Mary Catherine Dunphy and I live in Miles City, Montana. That last name is spelled D-U-N-P-H-Y. I usually like to testify last.
You may be.
I may be first and last. I thank you for coming to listen to comments. Is it possible that I could raise this up a little bit?
I think you can actually pull the mic out of the stand if you'd like.
Oh, well, I probably, let's see, maybe I could. Yeah, if you could, yeah, sure, you know.
I don't know if I know how, but let's see if we can figure it out.
Oh, that's better, yeah, because thank you. Better? Yeah, I had a concussion recently and my balance is not good. I bend over, I start to feel like I'm gonna fall over. So I stand here in opposition to the MDU rate increase. And the reason I stand in opposition is because our communities in Eastern Montana are being very adversely affected by these rate increases. There have been several in the last few years. And I know you're specifically dealing with MDU, but these communities are being affected by a variety of increases, property tax increases, food increases, cuts to the food banks. 14% of Miles City people are in poverty. We lost, to tell you how badly these Miles City is being affected, we've lost our dollar store. We've had 3 grocery stores in Miles City. And we lost one of the grocery stores that had been there since the early 1900s. Reynolds Market closed this year. And we've lost Aaron's furniture sales and rental place. And there are other businesses that I know of that are just barely hanging on. So when I think about MDU getting another increase, I think about, hold on a second. I have I just got a smartphone. I'm not really proficient with it, but if you'll bear with me, I'd appreciate it.
Any time you need.
Let's see here. Get to this. So with that background, I told you about Miles City and the people and their experiences there. When I look on the internet on my smartphone, which sometimes I think is smarter than I am, The press release for MDU Resources that came out on May 14th, the other day, said that MDU Resources Board of Directors declared a quarterly dividend on the company's common stock of 13 cents per share, unchanged from the previous quarter. So MDU is making pretty good profit. I also looked at their stock price. And I don't know if you can see that little chart on my phone, but it's a total from 73 to the present, and its stock has gone up.
You could put that right in front of the camera.
Okay. Does it show up on the computer pretty good there?
Yes.
And then the other thing when I was researching before I came here today, the CEO of MDU Resources, Nicole Cafisto, had a total compensation last year of 5.6 million. And this included a salary of 1.085 million, a bonus of 2.434 million, and stock awards of 3.359 million, and other compensation of 48,691. So she's doing pretty good. And then for those Miles City, the 14% people who live in poverty in Miles City and who have to, worry about paying utility bills, the food banks in Montana are facing significant reductions in the amount of food they receive due to cuts in the federal program called the Emergency Food Assistance Program. These cuts will in Montana, the Montana Food Bank Network, which serves 330 partners across Montana, is expected to lose about 40% of its TFAP allocation, or $2.5 million worth of food. So we're getting to the point in eastern Montana where people are actually going hungry. And having been the victim of crime in the past, one thing about a stable society economically is that there's less crime. And I don't think people are going to go hungry. And as these social safety net programs go, personally, having been the victim of crime in the past, I worry about, the stability of not just the community, Miles City and eastern Montana, just economically, but just the social ramifications that happen when things go south. So guess that's all I have to say about the rate increase. I hope the Montana Consumer Council has given you a good piece of advice about how they may know more than I do about what's happening in eastern Montana. So again, I thank you for coming and listening, and that's all I have to say. I wish more people were here, but thank you.
We really want to thank you for coming. I'm sure you speak for many. Are there any further public comments in the room? Are there any public comments online?
Yes, Mr. President, there is one online.
Could public comment please sign in? Can you hear me?
Good evening. I'm Bruce Peterson. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, good evening, commissioners. I'm Bruce Peterson, Peterson, and I reside in Glendive. I am a customer of MDU and have been for over 48 years. MDU has always been a reliable provider of both electricity and natural gas. And based on dividends earned by its shareholders, it appears to be financially sound, and that is a good thing. I am here in opposition to the rate hike. as proposed. My wife and I are both retired living on a fixed income. We have received increases in our monthly checks based on adjustments for inflation, but these increases do not keep pace with what MDU is proposing and or what MDU and the Consumer Council have proposed recently. From reading the report from the Consumer Council about its hearing with MDU, it appears that, and I'm quoting, and I hope I'm reading this right, the Montana Consumer Council supported a revenue requirement increase of $5,430,195 based on a return on equity of 8.9%. My concern is, since MDU is a monopoly that is considered to be a lower risk investment, MDU's return on equity should be somewhere around 6%. And this is based on two investment groups that study investment risk. So I would like to see this proposed increase by MDU set so that it receives an increase, but its return on equity is somewhere in the ballpark of 6 to 7% instead of almost 9%. This adjustment would be fair for MDU and its customers. And just one last question for thought. I got this from that report also, that they're proposing to increase the basic service charge by 3 cents a month, which doesn't seem like much, but that's almost $1 million of revenue for MDU. And I just was wondering why that was kind of thrown in there. So with that, I thank you, commissioners, for all you do and for listening to me. Have a good evening.
Thank you, sir. Are there any further online comments?
No further commenters online, Mr. President.
Thank you. Seeing no further public commenters in the room and on the line, we are ready to adjourn this listening session. The commission will also continue to accept public comment in writing and by phone. To provide public comment, please call the commission at 800-646-6150 or email the commission at pschelp@mt.gov. Once again, that phone number is 800-646-6150 and the email address is pschelp@mt.gov. Thank you for your public comments. This listening session is now adjourned.